Looking for something different than the usual? In today's video, we'll head to Sevierville, where you can roam, graze, or dine your way through 3 unique, locally owned businesses. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. Today, we will roam, graze, and dine our way through Sevierville. To be more clear, we will look at 3 different restaurants that you can find in Sevierville: the Roaming Gnome, Graze's Burger, and the Diner. All 3 offer something unique, and they all have burgers, and they're all in Sevierville. But maybe you're not sure where Sevierville even is. I mean, most people are searching for places in the Smoky Mountains are pretty familiar with Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, but Sevierville? Some people can't even say the name right. To be clear, Sevierville is the first major city most people pass when they're trying to get to Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. They're right off of Interstate 40, and though there is a difference between Sevier County and Sevierville, this difference won't affect most tourists. The fact is that Sevierville is almost 3 times larger than Pigeon Forge, with at least 3 times the population. With the larger population of actual regular residents and high levels of fluctuating tourism, Sevierville is a great location for smaller businesses. Sevierville takes the overflow from Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and offers guests a little bit more space to breathe, because those other 2 cities can be stifling with traffic and people. But being in a higher tourist area doesn't guarantee success. In order to survive, the businesses need to provide good service, and in the case of restaurants, good food. Each of the restaurants I'm going to talk about today all do just that. Each has carved a niche in the restaurant world in Sevierville and have been successful. I'm going to start with the Roaming Gnome. The Roaming Gnome is in the Governor's Crossing Mall off of Collar Drive. The name itself is fun and unique, inspiring thoughts of mischief, mythical creatures, and a culture they originated in. This Irish pub and eatery offers a unique atmosphere reminiscent of traditional Irish gathering places. It's known for its lively community vibe and is a popular spot for both locals and visitors. Despite its unassuming exterior, the interior boasts a welcoming and indulgent menu. As I've already pointed out, the establishment is very unassuming from the outside and might be a little intimidating to people who have little gnomes with them, as it does have a very bar-like feel. But during the day, the restaurant is just as open and easygoing as any other local restaurant who caters to families. But don't get me wrong, this is a hardcore bar at night. They open for lunch most days by 11, but they don't close until 3 a.m. It's one of the very few places in the area that are open that late. So if you're looking for a place to hang out with friends for a late drink, this is going to fit that bill. What makes the Roaming Gnome more unique is their towering burger, a massive burger challenge featuring 3 stacked bacon cheeseburgers with plenty of toppings and served with a pound of fries. The challenge is to finish the 4.5-pound meal in 30 minutes. I left a link in my description if you want to watch this video in full and see how this YouTuber did with the challenge. The next restaurant I'm going to talk about is also a bar, but where you get an authentic Irish experience with Roaming Gnome, Graze's Burger has gone in an entirely different direction. Graze's Burger is in the downtown district in Sevierville. Their building was part of a $7.5 million streetscape project that was completed in 2021. The project included several different buildings in the downtown area, as well as adding colors with a few new murals and some other sculptures. Graze's Burger is located in a repurposed post office from during the 1920s and 30s. The historical structure has been transformed into a vibrant dining spot, maintaining its heritage by incorporating elements like the original windows through which horse-drawn buggies once delivered mail. Now, instead of mail, it's burgers and hot dogs being served, adding a unique historical charm to the restaurant. Graze's Burger is celebrated for its gourmet burgers, made with high-quality, locally sourced ingredients. Their signature burger, featuring unique toppings and house-made sauces, is a standout item on the menu. And though we didn't try one when we were there, I've also heard great things about their shakes. Maybe next time. Graze Burger prides itself on a commitment to sustainability and supporting local farms. The restaurant's interior is modern yet cozy, providing a welcoming atmosphere for families and burger enthusiasts alike. The last place on our list is on the opposite side of Sevierville from the Roaming Gnome. They're called the Diner, with a capital T. The building is a 1950s all-chrome finish structure that has all the 1950s trim inside, from the black and white tiled floors to the fully attached metal round plastic padded stools by the bar. This, like many of its kind, were often characterized by their stainless steel exteriors, large windows, and neon signs. The interior features chrome accents, formica counters, vinyl booths, and checkered floors, creating a futuristic yet cozy atmosphere. The Diner in Sevierville is a classic 50s diner. And though the restaurant has a bar, they aren't actually a bar. They are actually what the name implies, a diner. The building is part of an era where these chrome-plated buildings were actually designed to be able to be transported. So it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that the current location on Winfield Dunn Parkway isn't the original one. When I visited, I asked the staff what they knew of the restaurant. It was believed that the restaurant was actually owned by the same family who owns Mel's Diner, another popular 50s-themed chrome diner in Pigeon Forge. I couldn't find any concrete information, but one thing was clear: it had been moved. The current owners have only had the place for a few years, but they've been successful in gaining and maintaining their clientele. Every time we've tried to get in, there has been lines or it's been busy. The diner is famous for its comfort foods, including burgers, milkshakes, meatloaf, and chicken fried steak. Breakfast is served all day, adding to its charm and appeal. Now, if you've watched my channel, you might know that I have a hard time getting up for breakfast, so I can't tell you how it was. From the popularity of the place, I'd say they have a decent selection and very few complaints. Comparing the three locations, here's what I have to say. The Roaming Gnome is much closer to Pigeon Forge. Prices are comparable to other places in the area, but be warned that they are a bar, like a real bar. Not one of those fluff places that have a bar, but basically are selling food to a family and beer for overstressed parents to get them through the meal. So if you are uncomfortable in that environment, you might want to pass. However, they are a real restaurant too. They have an extensive menu and a really good selection. Locals and tourists go there for the food alone most times. Another thing to note is that parking is free and easy to get to. Graze Burger has a more family-friendly vibe, and since they have been recently remodeled, they look newer. Yeah, I know that doesn't make sense since the building's from the 1920s, but you know what I mean. It's just newer. Graze Burger is for folks who like the idea of getting locally sourced meats and products and prefer a higher quality meat, but don't mind the higher prices, because Graze Burger is a little more pricey, though not much. They are open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. most days, and though they have a bar, it's more of a complement to the restaurant and not the focal point. Besides the slightly higher prices, the other downside to Graze Burger is the actual location. Any downtown area can be a challenge to find parking, but since they are right off the street, their parking is in a lot next door. When it's busy, parking can get a little bit more of a challenge, but not much. The diner is going to be ideal for families who need a wide variety of food choices for picky eaters and for people who don't like bars, but maybe ice cream kind. Those bars are pretty awesome. The diner is a real classic, though I will warn you, though their prices are not as high as some places in the area, they are still not cheap per se. We still spend $50 on 2 sandwiches, an appetizer, and a drink. So not a bad price, but not super cheap either. The only bad side to the diner is that if you are staying near Gatlinburg, you have a long drive. The other downside is that they get pretty busy and are closed by 8 or 9 p.m. every day. definitely not a place to go for a late night meal. So if you never ventured far from Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge and are looking to expand your horizons, consider one of these locally owned and, at least in one case, sourced restaurants, and take an adventure into something new. I hope this video helps you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, so please let us know if you've learned anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Fairfax of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.